I'm down here at Southport and we're going to be talking about wakeboarding and boating with Jamie Whincup. So Jamie, tell us about your first experience on the water.
Well, first experience on the water. My parents got me out on an aqua board when I was 2 years old, believe it or not. I don't remember that though, I was too young to remember it. But it was probably getting up on double skis a couple of years later. That's probably my first major memory.
What was your first memories of your first boat?
First boat was obviously the parents' boat. My dad loved his gill flights. So we pretty much had every gill flight known to man. The first one was a Spitfire, and then the one I grew up using most was a short line 190. That's where I really learned how to slalom ski, and we eventually did a bit of barefooting as well at the end of those days.
Oh, nice. Were these boats inboard or outboard motors?
No, they were all inboard. Yeah. Dad always had a white boat. He always used to keep it. He used to love his boats. He used to keep it all highly polished, and they were always an inboard boat with an unbelievably small wake. Really good for water skiing.
Do you like fishing? Are you into your fishing, or are you more on the water sports?
Well, yeah. Hey, it's funny you mentioned that. I took up fishing probably a couple of months ago. Had a bad experience probably 20 years ago where I went to the Murray River, threw the rod in, sat there for about 5 hours one day, didn't even get a bite. Went back the next day for another 3 or 4 hours and didn't get a thing either. So I literally threw my rod in the water and retired from fishing for 20 years. And I just took it up a couple of months ago. I got no idea what I'm doing. I just throw some mullet on a hook, throw it in, and lucky I'm on a canal up here on the Gold Coast, and I've been catching a few little brims. So I have no idea how to fillet it yet, so I just throw them back at this stage.
Oh, well, you have to get onto them fishing shows and learn how to do a bit of gutting and scaling.
And I'm pretty ordinary at tying hooks, and whenever I get something decent, it breaks the line, so I got a little bit more skill to come.
Yeah. So you live here on the Gold Coast. Any places that you know of that you go wakeboarding at or skiing?
Yeah. I moved up to the Gold Coast 5 years ago, and I grew up in Melbourne on the banks of the Murray River, so that worked. I learnt my water skiing craft, my wakeboarding there. So I'm always trying to look for some fresh water, which is not a huge amount around on the Goldie. So my main spots to wakeboard are obviously the Coomera and the Nerang River. Got a mate that lives right on the Nerang, so that's always nice. But then there's a few lakes out near Queensland Raceway. It's Lake Muggera. Not many people would know it.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a nice clear water lake, and if you get up there during the week, then you can get some awesome wakeboarding in.
So we hear you've got a Malibu. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a Malibu ambassador now, and the guys down there give me a new one each year. So just about to pick up my new 2012 VLX. Really excited. It's white with a little bit of red metallic, and I'm trialling a new camera, a camera that sits on the boom, which follows the wakeboarder.
Oh,
so
wow.
pretty excited about that.
Well, have you got any guys that are gonna test that camera out with you? Have you got any other pro riders to jump along and give you a hand with that?
Well, to be honest, with the link through Monster Energy, Daniel Watkins is he's a mad wakeboarder, and
he's a Gold Coast boy as well.
Gold Coast boy, probably one of the legends of the sport. And I met Daniel a couple of times at a few Monster gigs, and we've been out boarding, and he's massively helped me out. So yeah, I'm sure he'll get out there and go hard and make me feel all depressed and everything, can make me feel useless. So I got to lift my game a little bit.
Well, I'm sure like someone like Danny Watkins helping you out, I'm sure you'll pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. He even I thought I was pretty good, but he just taught me the basics, even how to jump the wake properly, cleanly, and then he's got me into a few rolls now, which is always good.
Oh, nice. So you're starting to do the rolls now, yeah?
Starting to do the rolls, yeah. Front roll, back roll.
Tantrums? Are you popping out any tantrums?
Yeah, can do a tantrum. A little bit messy. Yeah. Sort of go around the back. Daniel wants me to get over the top a little bit more, but hey, I make it stick, so that's the main thing.
Oh, that's all right. As long as you're landing them, that's the main thing. So have you had any terrible stacks through wakeboarding yet? Like any nice face plants? Or
no majors. Hey, I've had no shoulders or knees or ankles or anything like that. Yeah, smack my face into my knee. There's all the standard stuff. Plenty of good face plants and things like that. But hey, that's all part of the fun. If you want to go big, if you want to get better, then no pain, no gain.
That's right. And you know a lot about that with car racing as well.
That applies to any sport. Yeah.
So I know that the Malibus have got an awesome sound system. What tunes do you pump out when you're wakeboarding?
Oh, hey. It's a bit of variety. Hey, good music's good music. I don't really Don't really narrow it down to one particular thing, and it all depends on the mood as well. So yeah, the new boat's got the biggest sound system you can think. So I don't particularly have one set of music for the whole time. It all depends on what mood we're in at the time, and you know, some days we're out wakeboarding pretty hard and we want to be pumped up, but a lot of the times I use the boat as a bit of a social thing. Maybe get mum and dad on board or a few mates, and we cruise out to the Broadwater and put on some cruisy music just to relax.
Yeah, there's some nice areas around here on the Gold Coast to take the boat out, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, the Broadwater's awesome. I just cruise out, we find a nice beach somewhere with a little bit of a windbreak, depending on which way the wind's coming from. It depends on what beach we go to, and set the table up in the middle and just chill out for the day. Yeah, it's great.
Set the esky up and the barbie happening.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Okay, talking about the Gold Coast and the places around here, what is your favourite spot to take it?
Well, I'm on the Coomera River, so I normally drop the boat in at the Coomera. My favourite spot to take the boat would be, I think it's called Bums Bay. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what it's known around around my community. It's a little inlet, and it's big trees all the way around the outside, and it's always a nice windbreak. And hey, I've spent 5 or 6 hours just lying in the water, chilling out. They've also hold the Queensland State Wakeboarding Championships there last year, so it's a great spot to board as well.
Yeah, it's wakeboarding is starting to grow quite big on the Gold Coast here too, which is good to see because it's a great sport.
Yeah.
But have you ever considered about getting your mechanical engineer to soup up your motor a little bit more, or does he stay away from your boat motors?
Hey, I do come up with plenty of plans on how I can tune the boat up, but at the end of the day, I've got over 400 horsepower under the back of the boat, so I don't need any more power. And when I change them over every year, it's a little bit of a waste as well. But hey, a supercar engine in there, it probably lasts only 10 or 20 hours, and I have to completely rebuild the thing. So I think at the moment Malibu have got a right mix between power and longevity. Yeah,
I've seen the new motors too that are coming out, and with the eco system that they got, they're a lot less noise than what they used to be.
Yeah, and you know, we're big on fuel economy as well. You know, in the V8 Supercar category, we innovate ethanol fuels, you know, to try to look after the environment. And the new engine, it's got 8 more horsepower than the last. It's much better on fuel as well, which is handy. Helps the pocket out, but also helps the environment out at the same time.
Any memorable moments on your Malibu?
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of memorable moments. The two that come to mind first up, it's always wakeboarding related, of course. You know, landing a first trick on a particular day, you'll never ever forget that. But I've had some great afternoons. A couple with my parents on the Broadwater. We pulled in and got some fresh prawns and sat around the table and ate prawns and threw them over the side, getting harassed by the seagulls, mind you. You know, some of those memories are some of the greatest memories in the boat.
That's awesome. Now, any embarrassing memories? We all know boaties can do some silly things at times, you know, rushing to get out in the water. Any embarrassing moments that you had there?
Yeah, had plenty of embarrassing stories like most people have, and I backed the trailer into a gutter, bent all the trailer. That was handy. But the worst thing was Australia Day. I did a big ride in the morning, so I trained pretty hard, and I was rushing to get out there. It was a perfect day. Forgot to put the bung in. Realised 10 minutes later when the boat was half sunk, and then it was that full of water it wouldn't even get up on the plane. Ended up getting it back to the trailer and getting it back up and draining all the water out. And unfortunately, we didn't let it hurt our day. We emptied it out and still got out there and had a good Australia Day.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Now, if you ever get stuck on taking anyone out, I'm a pretty keen wakeboarder myself. I'd love to have a crack at your Malibu.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah. No, always looking for riders on the back.
All right, thanks very much.
No problems. Thank you. Cheers.
I'd like to show you some gear that people generally use behind the boats. So let's go through a couple of items I have up here in the wake room at Northside Marine. The first one we have here, this is a wakeboard. This is a brand new board. This is a Liquid Force board, and it's actually Harley Clifford's pro model, who's one of the world champion, or is the world champion I should say at the moment. Harley's board is a full top end board. You know, we have guys that buy these that are obviously buying the Malibu wake setters. You don't have to be riding to this level. We also have this one up here, which is the double up board. This is a fantastic board for an intermediate rider. So there's quite a few different models in boards, and we are able to help you out in our accessories division, and most dealers will be able to do the same. we have people who specialise in talking about this style of equipment. So that's a wakeboard. That's the general one that most people will buy for riding behind your wake setters and or your responses if you're a beginner rider. The next one we have here, which is quite popular at the moment, this is called a wake skate. This one here, we don't have any bindings on this board. We basically just stand on it with our skate shoes and we're able to ride that around, and it's effectively the same as skateboarding on the water. So you can do it with your kickflip type tricks, wake to wake tricks, and as you progress through, you know, the guys are getting really good now. They're nearly doing the same tricks as what they do on wakeboards. So that's fantastic fun. You don't have to be a pro rider by any standards, and you can get out there and have a bit of a go if you're a bit of a skater or a surfer. These are fantastic fun behind the boat, and these will be able to tow behind any model boat. You can tow that behind anything at all, any style of boat that you buy. You're able to ride wake skate. You don't need a specific wash for a wake skate. Okay, so the next one that we'll show you is this guy over here. This is an e-board. These things are fantastic fun. By far, we sell so many of these now. Most people that you talk to will have an e-board or have ridden an e-board. They're very easy to ride. You basically kneel on the things on the water. You've got a strap that goes over to stop you just falling off all the time. But they're fantastic. They're great fun to get yourself out on the water and learn. They're not expensive to buy. And again, you're rarely able to tow these things behind any sort of boat. You don't have to have a really specific boat, but it's fantastic fun behind particularly response series with the smaller wake. They're perfect for that sort of work. You get a couple of guys out, you get a couple of boards out the back, and it's just fantastic fun behind the boats. Okay everyone, this is our accessories section in Northside Marine. This area here is really for our skiing and wakeboard gear and accessories. So we'll start off in some ski area here. This is some of our skis that we supply. We have many different varieties in our range, but to give you some examples on what's available, this is one of our kitters. This is an XA kitter, and you'll notice on this is a reasonably top end ski. This ski here has a full wrap boot, full adjustable front and rear binding. It's got the drop through fin, and it's got quite a big concave in the bottom of the ski, and it tapers out in the tail. So this gives the ability for the ski to drive quite hard in the turns, and you keep the ski on edge as you cross your wake. So behind the Response Series boats, this is fantastic if you're a good skier. So these styles of skis, there's many different brands on the market, but traditionally you want a good wrapping boot that gives you good support and full adjustability in your boots as well, so you can get your stance right and fit your foot size properly. So there's that style of ski. And then we have here, on the total opposite end of the scale, these are for the kids. So these are your beginner skis. So they actually are tied off. So these skis here are tied so the kids' feet can't drift apart. So as you begin skiing, what happens is it lets them come up out of the water without having to have too much control on the ski. Gives them an easy out of the water. They can concentrate on getting themselves up and getting their technique right as they come out of the water and up out of the hole onto the plane on the ski. So it's quite good. It's a fantastic way to start off. And then we go through, we'll put these ones back up. We go through into just a normal everyday set of skis. So these guys here, this is a set of doubles. This is a set of double skis which most people, if they've ever tried skiing, start off on. Double skis allow you again to make an easy out of the water, get you up and going. And then as you progress along, you'll notice that this ski here has the back boot on it. So this is the ski that you use on your foot, right? If you're a right or a left foot forward person, this gives you the ability to drop this ski off while you're traveling along, and you'll slip the other foot into the rear binding on this and you become a single slalom skier. So you can go from doubles and then progress through and become quite a good skier on a single slalom ski. And then as you get better, you'll go up and you'll progress up into your ski range a little bit. You'll notice the shape's quite different in this ski. It's quite a lot flatter in the front and it's quite wide in the tail, so it's nowhere near as aggressive to ride. So the skis are quite easy to cruise around on, rather than driving the ski all the time. So very easy things to use, and there's many in the range, but that's just a quick example of what you're able to obtain from us to get you started in skiing. I'd like to talk about safety a little bit with your new towboat. The boats, when you're out there using them, to make it a safe and fun day, there's some rules I'd like you to stick to. The first one is make sure you know the area that you're boating in. Be aware of where your ski and boarding zones are. Be aware of any underwater obstacles that may be around, trees or anything like that, particularly in the dams. The other thing I'd like you to do is make sure that you're not towing people too close to banks or dropping them off too close to banks. Make sure they're not around other boats when you're dropping them off. Make sure that your observer is staying aware of what's going on around you when you're towing someone. Also too, make sure that the people that are behind the boat are on the right equipment for their ability. And if you think they're exceeding their ability and that they may hurt themselves, that you take control of that situation and ease them up and let them get a handle on what they're doing. So if you follow these simple rules, you'll have a nice, safe and fun day on the water.
Safety, is there anything different from maybe coastal or offshore boating?
The permit side is true. The waterways do require a freshwater permit to boat on there. You can buy weekly, you can buy monthly or biannually permits that are going through South-East Queensland waterways. And the safety obligations there, as we mentioned before, are very much in line with coastal. I suppose one of the things to bear in mind with the permit structure there is there's a feeling that the monies do go back into those resources, which is a feel good.
Do they have any events or festivals that centre around the inland waterways?
Some of them do. Just depends whether you're in a club or not, I think. There was a big racing event up at Mulgara not so long ago. They have different things like the fridge to fridge and those sorts of things up there where you can go and be part of all those things. And I think it's more different dams and different associations and things that you'd have to contact them and find out. But you've also got to go certain ways on the dam, so a lot of them are anti-clockwise. But you just have to check with that too because of a safety point.
Are there people on hand that know something about their
Absolutely.
area?
Absolutely.
What are they called?
There's rangers out at the dams,
okay.
Yeah.
who have responsibility for managing the dam, the waterway, and they're always really helpful people. They can give you the local information sheets about what to look out for.
So you don't have to be an expert. You can
not at all. No,
show up.
And there's plenty of signage about the do's and the don'ts in those areas.
And do people share? Do they share their boats and equipment? Is it that kind of feeling?
I guess a lot of them, you own your own boat, and for me, I guess you've just got to be more cautious. I'd prefer someone, driving the boat and an observer that knew what they were doing, because it's a different skill set again. So towing someone behind a boat and knowing how fast you can put them into a whip and those sorts of things
In a small enclosed...
Yeah, it's a different skill set, and I probably would want people to speak to someone or get a bit of advice or even sit and watch for a while. It's not something that I would just recommend that you just grab a boat and jump in and tow someone.
Or grab someone else's kids and put them on the back.
Yeah, because even coming up to them, you have to know how to slow down and how to come close to them.
Fall.
And also, whether they put their hand up in the water so that you can see them and those sorts of things. So there are etiquette
Just
to
the
follow.
same as offshore.
Exactly.